And I will say that nothing's changed as far as how we are approaching the season. We're still surrounded, so to speak. Maybe the only difference is that, well, it's not different from last year, is we're the number one team coming in again. It seems like it's real tight with those top 2 or 3 or 4 teams, Cornell, Ohio State, Iowa State, as far as returning points. And our job is to widen the gap and widen the gap as the year goes on. And I'll tell you, I just mentioned 3 teams, and you can throw Minnesota, Oklahoma State in there. You can throw a lot of teams in there. They're going to be improved as well, well coached, and hungry. So hungry coaching staffs with hungry individuals. That's not giving anybody too much credit. That's just letting you all know that we have a job to do, and our awareness is at a high level. And that would be a pretty good opening statement. I would also say that I'll take questions, and then you can go up and talk to the guys that are really about getting it done.
Coach, with the parity in wrestling now, I mean, how impressive is that 45-1 the last 2 dual seasons?
How impressive is
your 45-1 record the last 2 dual seasons?
Is there parity? If there's parity, then we got a lot of coaches that are doing the same amount of work and getting the same amount out of their guys. So maybe with parity, because of the number of programs there are, Division I, and only 9.9 scholarships, maybe there always will be parity when you analyze it. I was raised and coached not to believe in parity, so we got to do a better job. How impressive is 45-1? You'd like to be, 46-0, and that's the answer that you probably expect to get from any coach. But I think it's more about what's coming up, and maybe what you're going to probably hear our guys talk about, maybe a little bit of a letdown last year at the end of the year, even though I tell you they did a good job in that one session. In that one session, that was the consolation session on Saturday morning. But you talk to even a guy, Morningstar is probably the guy that felt the best leaving the arena, and then probably Erickson, and then probably Keddy. And you can go down the line a little bit, and Metcalf and Borshow were probably the 2 that felt the worst. So you got a pretty good blend there of guys that are all hungry to get back in it for different reasons, but they're all after the same thing.
You guys kind of won that title through the consolation session. Is it a point of emphasis this year to not have to do that, to win it through the winner's bracket?
That's, you always want to be in the winner's bracket, and we always talk to them. And again, it's a Gable principle, Gable philosophy, how we were coached when I was competing here. And when you're a little kid, that when things don't go your way, you don't roll over. And sometimes you're going to be where you don't want to be, and you got to scrap. And if you don't like the results, then if you don't like getting your nose bloodied, then you got to get up and you got to get after it. So there's always, realistically, there's always going to be situations where we got a guy that's where he doesn't want to be, and his job is to get up and scrap. I believe that. Realistically, you want to win 10 weights, and is that impossible to do? In no way am I saying that either. I'm just saying that there's going to be times where you're going to be where you don't want to be, and you have to scrap. So they did what they had to do, those guys.
Coach, how has Metcalf responded after that disappointment national?
He's responded as well as you would expect from a guy that's driven and ornery. I think that he's on track. I was joking today. I was on the phone with somebody, and they asked how Metcalf was doing, and I said he's so ornery he can't even look at himself in the mirror. And that's true. I mean, he's on a mission, but what's changed? And that's been his approach the whole time. The only thing is that there's reasons why he got beat, and those reasons are being addressed, and they're being addressed not just technically, because that's not really the main reasons. And so, you know, the reasons why are being addressed, and some of it is being addressed with his knowledge that it's being addressed, and some of it's being addressed by how we go through these workouts, and maybe not so much consciously to him. He doesn't need to know, but it's for him. This is why we're doing it as a staff or in principle or philosophy.
There was a little bit of public backlash to the end of that match with the shove, whether it was or not a heated battle. Has there been any carryover to this season from that?
There's been no carryover. It ended with, I think, with Metcalf's reprimand after his, I think maybe he had a statement after that. I still back him like I did back then. I won't ever back off that. And those people that were making those decisions, you know, they had a cool head. They had a cool head. The people that were really making the decision, Brad Traviola, the chair of the NCAA Rules Committee, you know, he had a cool head in that. And anybody can see that there's time on the clock, and we haven't changed our coaching philosophy. But you know, you cross the line, then you gotta watch it. But it's been addressed and it's put to bed, and I back our guy there.